In this video, I'm going to show you how often you should be lifting to increase your speed, how to combine your lifting with your sprint and plyometric training so you don't get slower, and I'll give you 3 training templates I use on my Speed Academy athletes to structure your workouts to have higher quality speed sessions. These training templates have helped me train athletes to go from this to this and even run this. Part 1, the main mistake that slows athletes down. The biggest mistake athletes make when trying to increase their speed and their strength is mismanaging volume. Either lifting too much relative to how much they're sprinting and getting stiff and less explosive, or lifting too little and sprinting too much so they stay weak and unathletic. This is where the 80-20 rule comes in, and even in some cases the 90-10 rule. NBA coach PJF has talked about this before, and I talk about it all the time. When it comes to lifting for speed development, 20% of your training should come from strength work. And the other 80% should be coming from sprint training, plyometric training, and force development work from jumps, med ball throws, and resisted sprints. The first thing you probably just said is, this is BS. Why is this the case? The main reason why I preach this rule is because sprinting takes place in 0.05 seconds to 0.2 seconds spent time on the ground, which means your ground contact times are under 0.2 seconds in acceleration and max velocity. And we also know that most research suggests that force is velocity specific. So if you spend time developing your strength in that 0.8 second range, but you have to sprint in under 0.2 seconds, then it might not transfer. So if you're spending too much time under heavy loads that takes you longer than 0.6 seconds on the concentric, and you're not spending enough time sprinting and doing plyometrics, you're not spending enough time developing the qualities that actually matter for speed development. So how do we structure our workouts to get stronger and faster? And to make this even possible, I'm just gonna simply give you 3 training templates from the Speed Academy. These are the proven templates I've used on this athlete to go from 11.4 seconds to 10.2 seconds in 100 meter. So if you don't even want to try to program for yourself, you want me to do it all for you like I've done with many athletes before, click the top link in the description or the pinned comment to join the Speed Academy today. Template number 1 is full body 3 days a week. For the more advanced people, this is technically concurrent training and high-low model. This training template is great for beginners and intermediate athletes who need to build strength without interfering with their speed work, but they might not be the strongest athlete out there. On Monday and Friday, we focus primarily on sprinting. We'll start with acceleration sprints, follow it with high intent plyometrics, and then move on to a few key strength exercises. I like to call it the big 3. This usually means a squat variation, a hinge movement, and some type of calf raise variation. These lifts are either submaximal and heavy, so around that 70 to 80% of your 1 rep max for a few reps, or high speed lifting variations that are around that 40 to 60% of your 1 rep max. You'll notice that the sprinting and plyometrics take up most of the session, while the lifting is just stimulating the strength qualities we need. We're not trying to crush ourselves in the weight room, we're trying to use the weight room to further develop our force production qualities. Then on Wednesday, we switch things up. This is where we focus on upright sprinting and faster plyometrics and mainly isometric lifts. With isometrics, we have 2 options, either focus on max strength with isometric pushes or refine movement quality and firing patterns, or maybe even the stiffness qualities we need with isometric holds. Once again, the total lifting volume stays low, and in most of our programs, this day is actually optional. You could just walk in and do flying sprints, some bounds, and call it a day, and you don't even need to go to the weight room. If you want to get some upper body lifting, you have 2 options. You can keep this as a full body and just add 1 horizontal push or 1 horizontal pull, or you could do option 2. Now we're gonna turn this training template to upper lower body split. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have upper body lifting days. This really doesn't interfere with your sprinting at all, so I don't really count them towards the lifting to sprinting ratio. So anything you do with your upper body, I wouldn't add that to the percentage of lifting of plyometrics to lifting ratio. This setup keeps the overall lifting volume low for lower body, prioritizes your speed specific work, and ensures you're getting stronger without possibly interfering with your speed development. The second template is a 3 bucket system. This is bar for bar how I set up the first phases of the Speed Academy. And while it's still technically concurrent training, I break it down to 3 distinct days, each serving a different purpose that develops speed and strength. For template 2, the athletes that this works for is usually beginner to intermediate athletes, multi-sport athletes who are beginner to intermediate, and usually track and field, soccer, and football athletes will see great gains from this training template because they need physical development, they need technical work, and they need high speed development for their sport. On Monday, we focus on what I call the physical bucket. This means your normal sprint training, a few plyometric movements, and then a good amount of lifting. Compared to the rest of the week, this is the day where we're going to do our heavier strength work, and the overall sessions is slower in velocity. Then on Wednesday, we hit the technical bucket. This day is all about high volume, extensive plyometrics, and sub-maximal sprinting that focus on developing your mechanics naturally. In the weight room, we'll shift the focus on developing the posterior chain, doing things like hip thrusts and hamstring isometrics. This session packs in a ton of volume, making it one of the heaviest lifting days of the week in terms of your total workload of sprinting to lifting ratio. Finally, Friday is the stimulus bucket day. This is where we go all in on max velocity sprinting, fast bounding, and short ground contact plyometrics. In terms of lifting, we might do one explosive movement that is low in volume, or we could make the lifting optional altogether. A lot of the times, this day just includes some isometric holds for movement quality and tendon health. Even though this template technically includes more lifting than the first, the max velocity sprinting and extensive plyometrics keeps the total volume in terms of the ratio balanced. And what's the end result of this program? You get stronger, bouncier, faster, and more elastic. Just like my athletes on the Speed Academy who have done this and done this. And you want me to give you a free ankle stiffness program that develops your ankle strength, your speed, and your stiffness, very similar to this training template from the first phase of the Speed Academy. Click the link in the description and we'll give you something for free. Template number 3 is contrast training. This is the most popular template I use in the Speed Academy, and I use it in phase 5 through 8. This training template is one of the best ways to break through athletic plateaus while keeping the training fun. For this third template, another athlete this works for is specifically jumpers and multi-directional sports, stuff like football, basketball, and soccer. This setup follows a 4-day model broken into 2 training blocks. The first day of the block is your explosive lifting and jumping day. So this means we're building up strength and power through lifts that emphasize force production. Then the second day of the 2-day block is all about sprints, bounds, drop jumps, and fast plyometrics. The idea I thought of here is doing post-activation potentiation, which isn't just short-term effects that last 30 seconds to 3 minutes like most people think. You can actually extend PAP over multiple days, and that's exactly what we're taking advantage of here. This setup works especially well for intermediate to advanced athletes who want a high volume lifting day that still prioritizes explosive work, a sprint and plyometric day that keeps speed as the main focus, and the best of both worlds. You get to push heavier weights without sacrificing your elasticity and explosiveness. This is also one of the most fun ways to train because you're still getting a high volume lifting day, but you also get plenty of sprinting and jumping without losing sight of the main goal, which is getting faster. But now that you know how to structure your workouts to get stronger and faster, you need to know what type of lifts you should be doing to increase your speed. So make sure you watch this video right here to learn the best lifts for speed development. If you want me to program the best lifting, plyometrics, and sprint training to increase your explosive speed this year, then click this link right here or the top link in the description of the pinned comment to join the Speed Academy today.